everyone, welcome to today's live. I will be chatting with Kavita Kat McMillan. She is a contributor to the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, which is going on right now until 11th of May. And we'll be talking to her about her contribution to the bundle. Okay, let me just put in this in the comment and pin it. And oh, good, Kavita is here. Great. Let me. She sent a request. Oh, awesome, awesome. Go. Okay, let's just wait. Hello, A311261. I see you. Hi, Kavita. Okay, can you hear me, Carol? Okay, great.
I hear you.
Perfect.
Can you hear me? Good. Let me make sure I have power here. It's getting low.
Thanks so much for agreeing to do this live and join us. I know you just finished teaching a class and then you had a class early on.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's really great to connect with everyone. It's so fun to be in the bundle.
Yeah. Cool. So maybe you can start off with just like telling people what you do, who you are, and then we'll go on from there.
Sure. Yeah, you had some questions I know about the instrument. So what I know, I'm included in this bundle because people that I know through yoga community and raw food and vegan community are a part of it. And I'm a longtime yoga teacher, and my focus in yoga is sacred sound. So I do a lot of kirtan, which is call and response chanting. I also do sound yoga, which is a little bit slower and maybe more meditative than kirtan practice, which kirtan is sounds more like songs. And I do vocal opening, and I play this instrument, which is called a harmonium. So what I've included in the bundle is an introduction to sacred sound. So it tells you a little bit about these things, about the harmonium and about kirtan and about these practices. And especially if you're someone who's eating raw food and living a healthy lifestyle, you're going to be more sensitive and more open to sound. And so it's a really effective and accessible way to practice yoga that can go alongside a physical practice, and is really deep and enriching. You know, sometimes we do a physical practice and we're still going, right? And the sound really takes you into meditation, and very quickly and very effectively. So it's a little bit about it. I'll tell you what this is, because you had asked, like, what is a harmonium? So this is a harmonium. I'm lifting it up. It's not too heavy, this one, but basically it's like a little pump organ, right? So it has a bellows on the back, and it has keys on the front. And it makes this really full, rich sound when you push air through. There's reeds inside. So it's kind of the same technology as an accordion, but it looks more like a little piano box.
Yeah. Where are you located?
Yeah. I'm in Oregon. I'm in the US.
I've never
Portland,
been
Oregon.
to Oregon. I've been to different parts of the US. And so, yeah, more of the major cities, because I used to work in the corporate world. So I would have to attend meetings and attend conferences. And so more of like San Francisco, New York City.
Yeah. So this is pretty, like, the biggest city close to Portland is Seattle. So north of here in Washington. Yeah. And then San Francisco is about 10 hours
There's actually
away.
another contributor in the bundle, Lindsay, who goes by Durian Writer. She hosts durian tours in Southeast Asia. She's also from Oregon, actually. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I need to connect with her.
So I mentioned my boyfriend's actually a professional musician, and he lived in the US because he did his degree in Berklee College of Music. So he was in Berkeley. He was in Boston. Then after that, he moved over to Berkeley in California. And then, yeah, and then
Right. Okay. That's
he
funny.
played with a percussionist, and I think she was from Oregon as well, if I'm not mistaken. So he's talked about,
Hmm.
he's like, oh, we should go
Okay.
to Oregon, but we haven't been there yet. So
Yeah. Well, it's a really good place for healthy lifestyle. There's lots of nature. There's lots of vegan restaurants and good
oh,
food and farm to table
nice.
restaurants where people are growing the food. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
yeah, it's good for that.
that'd be nice. That'd
Springtime
be
here
really
right
nice.
now.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
everybody, if you're here and you have any questions for Kavita, maybe if you can place it in the question box below, then yeah, we can ask you. But maybe you want to talk a bit about yeah. So like you call it sound yoga. I think like
Hmm.
people in Asia, at least where I am, we're more familiar with the. I think a lot of people here actually just think of yoga as poses. You know, they don't think about the I think
Sure.
Angelica was talking about the eight limbs. So maybe you can talk a little bit more about that as well, and then how, yeah, how it relates to sound yoga.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So sound has always been a really deep part of yoga practice. What came to the West first, and the East in cities, and for people who are living in sort of these sorts of lifestyles that we're leading,
Mm,
was the physical practice, because that is just really easy entry. We all want to be fit. We all want to look good. So I'm not sure about in your culture, but in the States, there's a lot about singing that is not so comfortable for people. A lot of people have a lot of hangups where they
mm,
think, oh, I'm not a good singer.
mm,
And that's just for professional singers. And,
mm,
people will go do karaoke and have fun. But if they're taking it in any other way, authentically or seriously, there's less of that than maybe there once was. And so there's not a whole lot of initially with the first wave of yoga, the sound practice. But then there started to
mm.
be some with kirtan. So like a kirtan, for example, is, let's do some simple kirtan. Ram, 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 Sita, Ram, 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 Sita, Ram, Ram, Ram. And then the room would sing that back to me. Ram, 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 Sita, Ram, Ram, Ram. Ram, 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 Sita, Ram, Ram, Ram. They would go back to the leader. Ram, 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 Sita, Ram, Ram, Ram. Ram, 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 Sita, Ram, Ram, Ram. Back to the room, right? So usually this practice is done like I'm doing with Sanskrit mantras. And these are energetic, spiritual, um, carriers of music, of ideas.
Mm,
They shift us, right? They work on
mm,
us the same way that asana does, but they're working on us
mm,
through the sound frequencies. And so a kirtan practice can be longer songs that are in pieces that the room sings and then the leader sings back and forth. Whereas a sound yoga practice, it's more related to
mhm.
the Indian classical music, and it's more using just a drone. So I'm not going to move from these two notes, but I'm going to sing. Right, and then the student or the participant would sing that back. So it becomes much more meditative. The shapes are slower. It can be just sound syllables
Mhm.
or an ah, like I was just doing. Sometimes there's mantra as well. Um, it's like a more sparse, more meditative. And my mantra teacher, actually, he's from the Punjab, and he actually barely even uses the drone now because he's so
Mm,
just in the minimal space of it. But it becomes a real meditation on how we're using the voice, how we're using the breath, and how we are, if you're using a drone, which is when the instrument, whatever you're singing into, is just keeping one tone, how you're merging with that, right? So we know yoga is to come together, to join, right? So it becomes about how are we using the sound current, the breath, and the voice to merge. And it takes you right into the center of your own practice.
Your singing is so beautiful.
So,
do you have like
thank you.
classical or music training, or is it just intuitive?
I study Indian classical music, yeah. So that's kind of what led me into all this. When I was training to be a yoga teacher, I got turned on to the kirtan, which is that back and forth mantra practice, and Indian classical music at the same time. Different people teaching and offering that. But so yeah, and they kind of inform one another. So it's a life practice. You know, I've been practicing and learning it for over 25 years, but I'm still a beginner because in that world you start very, very young and you practice 10, 12 hours a day, you know, for your life. So, but I'm very grateful to my teachers and feel very enriched.
I think I've only experienced one kirtan so far, and I think that was in when I was in the US. We were in US for 1 month. We visited US for 1 month in 2020, just before the lockdowns, and so I was trying to catch up with the people, Chef Adam Sobel and it's from Cinnamon Snail, and the wife invited us over for a potluck. They happened to have a potluck that time, so we went over their home. So they did the potluck and then they did the kirtan. So we were just we were there and we were immersed and experienced it. But I really liked it. We really enjoyed it. I mean, I was like, oh, I don't really know anyone here. But it was good. It was good. I'm really glad we made it there. It was a bit of a trip because we were in Jersey as well, but we were like on the part where it was very near to New York City. Like, you know, we just needed to take a bus and we would already arrive in New York City. So to get to their home, I think it took us like, I'm not sure, maybe like 2.5 hours. I can't remember. We took a train. So we took a train down and then we went to like, you know, we walked around town and my boyfriend wanted to look at this Kevin Smith's shop, I think. And then after that, we walked over to their home and then we met everyone and then we were there. Then we spent a nice few hours there. And then we took an Uber back because there wasn't any trains back. I mean, they were like, oh, you could sleep over, you can stay, you know, please stay. And then we're like, now we'll just go home. So that was really
nice. Well, so lots of times this practice, I mean, it's moved into yoga studios, obviously, and sometimes, you know, there's people who have big, huge concerts now, you know. However, it's traditionally, you can do it in people's houses, you know. You can get together and sing and create a meditative practice or create a practice where people feel comfortable sharing their voice. And it can be really healing. It can be a real way to kind of get out of any, nervousness around having to be professional about music. When we are doing it as more of a practice that's connecting us with spirit, it's more like we kind of tease and we say it's a prayer performance. You know, it's like it takes on a different energetic, and it's about just allowing yourself to be authentic and to be in the moment and to let whatever is you're dealing with to come through your voice, you know. So, and some people aren't familiar or comfortable with the Sanskrit chants. And so in other traditions, you know, there's Hebrew kirtan, kirtan's a Sanskrit word. So they say that because it communicates to people what it is. But any old language that is really still connected to the body is going to be effective for this type of sound practice. Right?
I think we had a question. Let me just scroll and see. Oh, Jonah Sunshine asks, have you seen how much tropical fruit grows in Phoenix? I don't...
Somewhat. It's pretty hot in Phoenix, though.
So
more.
is sorry, I don't know where Phoenix is. I've heard of Phoenix, but I don't know where it is, like which part. Because
Yeah. So Phoenix is down, it's almost to the
ah,
Mexican border. It's in the southern part of the
okay,
US
okay.
on the west. It's not on the west coast, but it's in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
what is known as the Mojave Desert. So it's
Ah,
very
okay.
hot and dry. And but they do grow
Ah, okay, okay,
some
okay.
good food there. Tends to be a little
Ah, no
hot
wonder.
and dry though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, US is so big, so there's so much to explore. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. More tropical fruit in California, and then even more if you follow that coast down into
Yeah.
Mexico. Lots of tropical fruit.
Yeah, we stayed in LA with two friends, and then we were in Berkeley with for a week as well with friends. So yeah, we had like access to lots of food. But I'm not 100% raw vegan, so like when I travel, I try and I actually want to, try out the restaurants, try out the local food, see what people, yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So
Yeah.
but that was a fun trip.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't tend to be 100% either, but the whole yoga practice really lends itself to vegan because as you start to practice the tenets of yoga and nonviolence and non-harming, and it starts to be part of your lifestyle. You just start to feel it, and it makes sense, and it takes you
Yeah.
deeper into your practice to
Yeah.
be
So if
respecting all
people don't
beings.
have access to a harmonium, what do you suggest that they would do if they want to practice sound yoga?
Sure. Yeah. So when I say drone, just to define that word, it's playing a tone that stays the same, right? Like this or like this. And you can find apps that
Mhm.
have drones on them. The instrument that this is mimicking when I'm just playing a drone is called a tempura, which is a gourd with a neck
Mm,
and
yeah.
strings. And so in Indian
Yes.
classical music, that's the
Yes.
instrument that's used to create the drone. And so it'll go down, 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 and you keep it going long enough that it all streams together. I'll show you how the app sounds. But there's apps for your phone that simulate that sound, right? This is on my iPad, but the one for the phone is called
Oh, okay.
iTubla Pro. And I don't know what it is for Android. That's for an Apple phone, but there is one. So if you look for a Tempura app, you can get that. I've also found some just on the laptop online. So you can find a different way to have a drone. And once you have a drone, then you have a basis for beginning any sort of sound yoga practice. So you could start really simple. Most
Hmm.
people are familiar with the
Yeah.
sound Om, right? So say we had our drone on and we wanted to just go, you're listening, you're singing, you're paying attention to your breath. You could keep going, right? It's very simple, but what's happening to the body is that by drawing out that exhale with our sound, we're automatically bringing ourselves into a more
Mm-hmm.
parasympathetic nervous system state. Our rate of breath is coming down in terms of how many breaths per minute. Um, all of our systems are going into a rest and restore process as opposed to a fight or flight, which is the opposite, the sympathetic nervous system when we're doing many things and multitasking. And so even just a few minutes of listening to the drone and singing Om or singing something very simple, you're going to have this benefit, right? Where you're going to come into a more
Thank
peaceful
you.
state of mind. So yeah, that's a real easy
Yeah.
way, easy
So,
entryway.
how long, like, what is the duration of a typical, sound practice then?
Well, it really depends on how much time people have. I teach classes online weekly that are an hour. And an hour is a really nice amount of time. It's right where, if you're learning sound shapes and repeating them, it's right where your brain starts to get a little tired. And it starts to be like, I can't take any more in. With practice, you know, then you can go longer. But an hour is a really good amount of time. If you're doing it on your own and you have a busy life, just like we just did, if you drop in and do 5 minutes or 3 minutes even, it's really going to affect your whole day. You know, I mean, it's like saying to somebody, do you have a sitting meditation practice? And, you know, even if they can just sit for 5 minutes, it's very different than not sitting at all. So yeah, the personal practice really depends on how much time you have. My mantra teacher, one of the most important things he says we can do for ourselves, besides eating regularly, good whole foods and all that, is to go to bed earlier and to get up with the sun, or get up just before the sun and sit with the sunrise. So if you're doing that and you combine a sound practice, a lot of times you have more time in your day because you're up early and you're primed.
So what time do you go to bed and what time do you rise?
When I'm in good rhythms, 8:30 or 9, you know, probably in bed by 9. Yeah. And, you know, sure, there's some times where we're playing out music or there's things that happen, but I'm in the habit now of getting up early enough that I'll still get up. And that was, you know, I had to adjust my life really to do that. But I started to, it started to be important.
A couple of years ago, I started, trying to go to bed by 10. So like I actually set an alarm on my phone at 9:30 to remind me to start getting ready and have my like bedtime routine and all that. And then I wake up about 5:30. Yeah, and then but I do qigong, so I get up. I wake up, I do my meditation, and then after that I go and do my qigong, and then I start my day and all that. So yeah, but a bit
nice. Oh, Qigong is such a beautiful practice. I love that.
Yeah, I've been doing it for quite some time. What happened was I used to do road races and used to run, and then I injured myself. Well, I had a lot of injuries. I had like ankle injuries, knee injuries, and then I had hamstring injuries, and that then I just stopped running. I was walking around the park, and then, you know, I always see this Qigong teacher teaching in the park, and I was like, I'm curious. I joined, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then it was something that my boyfriend was like open to doing as well. So so that's what I do.
Nice. Yeah. Well, there's sounds in some of the Qigong practice too. I've learned one form that had some sounds, and that was really my favorite because I'm so attuned to the sound practices. So it's nice to include
someone says, Dacian says, wish I came in earlier. Sound meditation is my thing too. Kavita looks familiar. Yeah.
Oh, where are you from? He can hear there.
Let us know where you're from, and you can watch the replay. I'll post the replay after this. So if you guys missed the the beginning, you can always go back and watch the replay. Yeah. And Kavita, did you put the link to your to the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle in your IG profile as well? Because I was just like,
no, you know what? It was in my story, but I don't know if it's in my profile. So because I put it in my profile.
Yeah, the bundle is ending in 2 days. So if anyone is interested, go check it out. The link is currently in my bio. It will also be in Kavita's bio as well. So go check it out. See whether this is something that you guys are interested in. There's also a Yin Yoga course in there, and then an introduction to Ashtanga yoga course, and then we have Kavita as well. And I was really excited to speak to you because I love sound as well. I used to sing in the school choir, and then after that I sang in a community choir for many years. I also I have basic piano training. Not training, I mean like basic piano background as well, as in like people in Asia, we all have to learn how to play the piano until grade 8, So
It's great.
so
Yeah,
I do
Suzuki.
I love song, I love singing, I love music, especially live music. Yeah, like yeah, yeah, so
Nice. It would be
yeah, so
easy
I was
entry for
like
you
trying to
then.
follow your
I
chants and
mean,
your hums, and I was just like, oh my God, you're like pitch perfect.
well, you know, the more that we sing and the more we listen into the drone, that's what the drone helps us with. Um, because it's so constant and we're
Uh,
always having the same reference, you know, if we are practicing with the same tone, and that tone is based on where our
mhm,
voice is the most comfortable. So each person, you know, women's tend to be around the same note and men's around the same note, and people who identify differently, you know, can kind of find where in between those two spaces where they're not, it feels the most comfortable. But that note, which in Indian classical music is called your saw, is the place where you sing with the
mm,
least amount of effort. So everything is starting from this place of ease and comfort. And from there, you go down first and explore down, and then you start going up. So everything is about maintaining that ease and while also bringing yourself into a soothing state for your nervous system. And then, you know, getting creative and um, the intervals stay the same,
mm,
so your ear gets better, right? If you're
mhm,
using that same drone for that type of your practice. If you're going to sing more songs or kirtans, that'll change around. But I suggest that once people find their note, their home note, which I talked about a little bit in the Sacred Intro to Sacred Sound, that they kind of hang out around that space for morning practice, say, or for sitting and
mhm,
meditating and chanting Om, because then you're also going to improve your pitch because you're always going to have this interval training going on where you're going to understand how far away you
yeah.
are from your home
I'm
base. So little by little, yeah, singing, your breath gets stronger, everything starts to develop, but it's just from actually
Yeah.
singing,
I
spending
think
time
just now
singing.
when you were singing and you were playing the harmonium, I
So,
could actually feel like the sound flowing through me, and it's like it's so comforting. You know, it's just like the energy was just going like
oh,
I was like,
nice.
oh, this is so nice. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's what attracted me too. It was just, you know, it felt so good to do a yoga practice. Afterwards, I sang better and it felt so freeing, you know. So when I was training to teach yoga, they would chant mantra at the beginning of class and at the end, and I noticed the change in my voice from doing physical practice. And I noticed how much more open I was listening. So, I mean, they really, you know, they go hand
Yeah.
in hand. They're all intertwined.
Yeah. I think so too. Okay, so
So,
we're coming to the
yeah.
end of our chat today. I'm just gonna wrap it up really soon. But does anybody have any questions? I don't think I see anything else, and I think Dasyan Jali has left and hasn't told us where he or she is from, but that's okay. I guess if anybody else has any
Okay.
further questions about, Kavita's introduction to sacred sound, if you are watching the replay, you can leave the comments below and then she can help answer you. But if not, do check out the links in our bio, see whether the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle is something that you like. It's a collection of 40 digital resources on the raw vegan lifestyle. So there's recipe books, there are courses on making money, there's courses on setting your mindset, and then there's Kavita's course, there's my course on how to make raw vegan Asian sweets and treats as well. Everything in the course is brand new, and everything is the bundle is going to be here for only 2 more days. When next year, if we do have another bundle, you
Mm.
won't get the same things again, because the every bundle for the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle is brand new. There's also a collect okay, there's a group collaboration ebook, which is like kind of like a collector's edition recipe ebook, where there's like 41 recipes from 37 contributors from all over the world. So that also might be something that you want, because you won't be able to get that anywhere out of the bundle. Yeah. So
Yay. Yeah, so check it out. We'll do
oh yeah, that'll be
some
really
chanting on
nice.
the way
Yeah,
out.
let's end with that. That's so cool.
Om think we sing that in the bundle, so you can check that out.
I want to try that, but I was just afraid that like there's a time that I make that. So it's Om Gana Gana
Gong,
Gong
so
Gong.
gong is the lead sound for Ganesh. Om Gong Ganapataye Namaha.
Let me see. I think you wrote the words there, right? So I can try that. Yeah, I should really try that. Okay. Om Gam Ganapataye Namah.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. As it comes through
Nice.
you.
So
Beautiful.
thank you so much, Kavita, for the time.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
And
It was a
yeah, I
pleasure.
think if we ever get to Oregon, I will be in touch. Maybe we can meet in person.
Come visit. Yeah, we'll invite you to a kirtan and you can be in a 2-hour
Oh.
packed room full of people singing like this. So it's really powerful. I can't wait to try your recipes. So
Oh,
thank you
okay.
for that.
Dustin Jelly says, "Hi, Yin. Don't have any questions. Just trying to be raw and have been past 5 weeks." Oh, wonderful! It's helped a lot. Yes, I'll plug it back later. My other account is Fruits of Asia, which I use more often. Oh, yes, Fruits of Asia. I've seen that before. I've seen your account before. Cool, cool. Thanks for joining the live as well. And yeah, glad to know that being raw has been helping all of you guys. Yeah. Okay, then I will have to go off and make my breakfast now because it's time to break my fast. It's 10 in the morning. I start eating at 10. So but yeah, thanks again, Kavita. And
yeah, it was great to
thanks
speak with you. Have a
everyone.
great day.
Have a great day.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ganapati Ganesh is called Paprikana in Thailand. I don't know about Malaysia. I think it's the same. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Prapikana.
We for
Beautiful.
in Malaysia we follow the Indian name, so it will be similar, I think. Yeah. Okay. We will
Nice.
end now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.